Weekend number 2.
Weekend in review. Welcome
Yay.
back.
So we kind of liked it, and we'll stick with it, I think. Even though...
We'll keep doing it for a while, see how it goes.
Yeah, even though it was a really rainy weekend. So we didn't get as much done as we probably would have if it
This
was...
weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rained all weekend again. Like last weekend.
Was last weekend that bad? No, we got some stuff done last weekend. We got the hay, and it was the last week has been raining.
Yeah, very much.
As typical, weekends start on Friday. We had plans for Friday for sure. And that was butchering our turkeys.
Yep, so I came home from work. I think I got home about 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We scrambled and took us about 30 minutes to get everything set up. To butcher our turkeys today.
Yes, they should have been butchered like 2 weeks ago. I'm estimating around a 100-pound turkey at this point. I know I can't hold them, so we've built ourselves a contraption that we're going to use to secure these suckers so I don't get whacked across the face again this year.
Watch it, watch it. Gotta watch them wings.
They were huge. Oh my gosh.
Massive.
It took every ounce of my strength to just like the first one. I could not stand up straight and hold them. 50 pounds had to have been at least. I'm not kidding you. I could not wait to get them processed and actually see how much they weighed. But we'll tell you about that later because we didn't actually get to that part until Sunday.
We woke up Saturday morning. Somebody always wakes up really bright and early. Somebody else tries to sleep in as long as they possibly can, which usually by 8 o'clock I got to get out of bed. But I'm usually on the weekends blessed with a wonderful breakfast when I wake up in the mornings.
Yeah, so I didn't grow up. I think our big breakfast is growing up. Is that how you say it? Breakfast is?
Sure.
Breakfast. Our big breakfast growing up was like pancakes and bacon. That was my typical weekend breakfast. But now that I have all these chickens, if you guys follow us on Instagram, I'm loving making quiches because you can like make them different every single time. So I decided to, again, make a quiche. I actually stole and modified, I didn't steal, shamelessly stole and modified Pioneer Woman's cowboy quiche recipe, which I only modified it because I didn't have her ingredients. It sounds yummy. Go look it up. But what did I put in it? I put some garlic scapes in it that we had preserved from the summer, some ham, some few still fresh red tomatoes that I had in the fridge, kale that I had preserved from the summer, and sharp cheddar cheese. And it was divine. Oh my gosh, it was so good. We just eat that up. Like the boys even love it when they're home for the weekend, and they'll go in the fridge and cut a piece and just eat it cold. So if you guys aren't making quiches, something about it makes me feel like it's like the most divine free food in the world, because it's an interesting concept when you grow your own food. Your brain plays tricks on you like all this food is free. It's not really free.
You almost go into this mode of, hey, what do we have in the fridge? What's leftovers from this or leftovers from that I can chop up and just throw into this thing?
Yeah. I almost put some canned chicken in it. I think I'm gonna try like a dinner quiche, more like a savory quiche with something with chicken in it someday. If you guys have any ideas on a chicken quiche recipe, let me know. So that was a yummy breakfast.
And Saturday afternoon, evening, full schedule of rain.
All day rain.
We actually had some plans for Saturday night that we had to cancel because of the rain. But that led us up to about lunchtime or so, and we decided, hey, we need to run some errands. We need to run by the grocery store, pick up some stuff. She wanted to run by the department store to get some home goods, and I needed to make a run to Lowe's.
And we stopped and then saw your mom.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, his mom's owns almost like a family crisis. Well, it started out as a resale shop. And what they found is they have huge hearts of givers. And they were often in the position to help families in need, young mothers that were escaping a bad situation, get on their feet and land and didn't have furniture and things like that. So they've since full out turned that into a nonprofit organization where they help families in crisis. So it's just right down the road, so we get to see her every time we run to town.
So yeah, after we stopped and visited my parents, it was off to, where'd you go? Wanted to go TJ Maxx,
TJ
right?
Maxx,
She had some shopping she wanted to do, all intentions of going with her, but she evicted me and...
So he doesn't enjoy shopping. I really enjoy just looking. Certainly, there are men out there who understand what I'm talking about and women that understand what I'm talking about. And I like to respect the fact that he doesn't like shopping. And when I go and he needs to come with me, I make sure to get in and get out. And Saturday was one of those days, I really just want to take my time. So is there anything you need in there? If not, why don't you run to Walmart while I take my time in here? And so that we split ways at that moment. You went and did your Walmarting, and I did my TJ Maxxing.
Conquered Walmart, and...
I conquered TJ Maxx.
She did. She had 3 bags of stuff.
And I told him when I got in the car, I said, see, if you would have went with me, I would have never gotten this stuff. He's like, right, I should have went with you. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have. I needed these things. No, I really went in there for bed sheets for the kids. Also got a lot of Christmas shopping done while I was in there. I'm almost done with Christmas shopping. I kid you not. I really am.
I haven't started. But I did buy some mouse poison at Walmart and some lunch meat.
Good job.
Came home, unpacked all that stuff, and one of the benefits from when we stopped at my parents' shop in Monroe, I asked my stepdad if he had any scrap steel laying around, because one of the projects I've been wanting to tackle in the near future, that is transporting pigs from Homestead to butcher. There's a number of different ways we could tackle this process of transportation, but we do not have a livestock trailer. We have a really nice utility trailer, but the sides are about this tall, and we've kicked around multiple ideas of wood and pallets and different things in building a structure. I, in my head, designed it ultimately using steel and hog panels and building a small cage that can fit on top of the trailer. When we're done, we can take that cage off, use it as a utility trailer again, put the cage back on to transport animals, and back and forth. The problem is, I don't know how to weld.
He really just wants to play with fire.
It's one skill that I don't have. So I ended up purchasing a welder this week. My stepdad gave me a bunch of scrap steel that he had in the back of his shop. Then I spent Saturday afternoon practicing.
You had already gotten your welding, do they call it mask or a helmet?
Yeah, I had all the proper PPE. I had a fire-resistant jacket. I had my helmet, my mask, my gloves, everything that I needed at that point. I just needed some steel,
right.
And he hooked me up. And I spent an hour or two out there. So much goes into the prep of the metal beforehand, before you weld, making sure things are clean and ground properly, and I think I'm pretty successple at it.
Yeah,
I mean, I took pieces of steel and I welded them together.
It looked like he did a good job, very much so.
And it was fun. I'm a learner person. I love to learn, whether I'm at work or at home or I'm playing. If I can do something where I'm learning something new, it really puts some fire under me. So hopefully I have enough skill to complete this project.
Right. So once you learn to weld, there's so many things that you can do after that you can continue to learn and learn
Oh,
and
yeah,
learn.
for
It's
sure.
not like you're going to learn and be done with it.
Right. Yeah, I've just since yesterday doing my practicing, and my brain's already thinking, I'm like, what else was there that I've always wanted to do or build or construct that I couldn't, or I had to build it out of wood and it turned out crappy, and now that I can build it out of steel, it could turn out better. So.
Yeah, right. Well, while he was out in the barn doing that, I had been sitting on my duff on the couch watching some YouTube while it rained, and I happened to watch Rain Country Homestead.
While it was raining?
While it was raining. Oh, look at that. And she was processing her beans and showing us how she preserves them. And I was like looking, I was like, oh my gosh, those are the exact same beans I grew this year. And they're those Scarlet Runner beans. It's the first year I ever grew them. I didn't plant a lot just because I didn't know how they would do. And I actually got a decent harvest, probably enough for a meal anyway. And one of the lessons learned that she shared, that she struggled like the first couple years getting them to dry out, and she shared one of her oops was she had just threw them in a basket and thought that they would dry out and air out there. It was like a kind of a ventilated basket. Don't you know, mine were in a basket. I'm like, she was talking about how they got moldy and everything. I was like, oh no. And I jumped up from watching the YouTube and went and got my beans, and honestly, they had started to smell a little moldy. I found like 3 or 4 I had to toss out. So I ended up, she talked about several different methods of like stacking them crisscross, or how she dries them using her wood fire stove and, setting them on a rack near that, or in her greenhouse. Anyway, I had already pulled them all off the vines. I needed to, ultimately, I tied them up in between strings and hung them. I'm sure you can see it right now. I hung them.
Way over there.
Yeah, back there on that chimney, where it gets a lot of airflow and not too far from the vents that are by the island. So I'm hoping that they're going to dry out good, and I didn't miss out on the opportunity to preserve my beans properly. So we'll make sure to give you an update when they are dry and I'm able to shell them and show you guys.
While we were at my parents' shop on Saturday, Rachel invited them for Sunday brunch.
I did.
Or Sunday lunch.
One of the things that we said because we're a lot closer to them than we were before. And even though you invite people, they often don't know that you necessarily mean it. Like, we're always, every single Sunday, please come over, have lunch with us. But they're probably of an old school that unless you actually invite them, they don't just walk in your door and come in. So
Right.
We made sure to please come over and have lunch with us Sunday.
Yep. So you got up early again. I slept in a little bit again. And you got up and started lunch first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah, it was probably like 7 o'clock.
We had a grass-fed roast beef that you cooked your grandmother's style.
Yeah, so my grandmother, every single Sunday, I can't think of a Sunday that we didn't have roast when we were at her house. She finally taught me how, because roast is one of my all-time favorite meals, like pot roast. And I finally asked her, like, Grandmother, I was sure I was a teenager. Show me what you do that you make this, because it was never like my mom's. And she always cooked it in a cast iron Dutch oven. And she would, it's not braising. Is it called braising? Searing. She would sear it in oil on all sides before she threw it in the oven. And we left for church and we'd come home, and then it was throw together your last minute sides or whatever. So I took time to do that, heated up some olive oil, braised it on all sides, threw in a whole bunch of carrots that I hadn't canned, but I still had like a gallon freezer bag. Some of our dehydrated onions, some more garlic scapes again, because I really want to use those garlic scapes up, because I really don't know how long they're going to last in the freezer. Some red wine, some beef broth, and I think that's it. And then we Instapotted some green beans, and I made some corn muffins. It was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was very good.
And enjoyed just the company and the visit with them. So Todd's stepfather, my father-in-law, Jerry, he's from the hollers of West Virginia somewhere. West Virginia, right?
Yes.
Yes. And his daddy was a coal miner, and they had like 9 brothers and sisters and a 2-bedroom house and, you know, the spring well and the cellars. And they're the homesteaders that we often talk about, that it wasn't called homesteading, it was life. And you just raised your own food, and you had your garden, and you preserved your food, because if you didn't, you were going to starve.
Right.
And so every single time we're together and we have an opportunity, we ask more and more questions. And one of these days, we really hope to get them on video for you guys, because some of the stories are just incredible. Incredible.
Right. Yeah, he's got some good ones.
Mm-hmm. And I said, because he knew we were going to, our intent was to can some of our turkey meat. And I asked him, did you guys can, you know, your chickens and things like that? And he said, no, you just knew what you were having for lunch after church on Sunday. If when you got home, you had to go out and wring 2 necks of 2 chickens.
Right.
And if you didn't go out right after church and wring 2 necks for chickens, then you knew you were going to so-and-so's house for lunch.
Right. We're going to go to somebody else's house.
Yeah.
Who else that they wring their chicken necks?
Yeah, right.
You know, we talked today about salting pork and a lot of different things. So we're really going to try to get some time with him one of these days and just say, okay, here's a list of questions. Tell us about what life was like when you were growing up. Because and his dad was a beekeeper. And
right. They raised cattle. They raised pigs.
Right.
They did it all. So it's pretty neat.
Yep. After we had our nice meal and we sat down and talked,
Well, we wanted to show them the turkeys.
Yeah, we wanted to show them the turkeys, and so could not wait to figure out how much that giant turkey weighed.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So we went and got the bathroom scale. We weighed me, and then we weighed me with the turkey in my hands just to see how much it weighed.
And I honestly, remember, I promise you, this turkey had to weigh 50 pounds. Okay. Wow. Can you see that?
214.6.
27?
27.
That's it?
27 pounds.
That's disappointing, Tom. Come on. What's wrong with you, man? Yeah, it was a big turkey, but I was disappointed in that, Tom. I'm like, come on, you couldn't even at least give me 30 pounds? But I was blessed. It was, once we started getting into it and processing it, them breasts were huge.
Yeah, so we figured, okay, the turkey's here. The cutting board's clean, the knife's clean. Let's just get this thing deboned. Get it.
And your mom and Jerry were still here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and my parents were still here, so we thought, well, you guys can hang out with us while we do our chores. And they ended up pitching in and helping, which was pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
But some of the breasts, we pulled them off, and you picture like a chicken breast, like when you go and you get like a little chicken breast from the grocery store, and it's about this big. Picture like the chicken breast, but this big.
They were, well, he handed it to me because he's got the big cutting board that he's processing the turkeys on. And I've got our normal size cutting board that we typically then I'll start chopping it up into pieces when we're doing our chickens. And he throws this breast on my cutting board. I'm like, I have no room to work. What am I supposed to do? So I got a whole bunch of bowls out and I did the best that I could. We ended up, the counter was covered. Oh, Lord, did we have to get the cleaning products out after that? Oh my gosh, what a mess.
But yeah, we'd pass off the 1 inch, basically 1 inch cube the whole thing, passed it all over to my mom. She put it all in the jars. Jerry was wiping all around the rings and putting salt in them, putting the lids on.
Yeah.
So it was a cool way to spend some time with them.
Yeah, it was fun. I told her, now you can add this to your resume that you have on-farm experience. Did you guys ever grow up eating rabbit, Jerry? Other than hunting it, did you ever raise it or anything?
No, we never. We went out and hunted and got them. We didn't have them as pets or
breeding, like for meat or
breeding,
anything?
yeah. No, we,
Was it common though to eat rabbit where you grew up?
oh yeah, rabbit and squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squirrel brain.
My brother and dad,
Trying to get your door, dropping off political stuff.
they love
That was
squirrel
super.
brains and that. I didn't like, I rabbit meat I would eat if we was out camping or something, and then you fry it up, and that. But I never squirrel. I never acquired the taste
Oh,
for that.
really? Does it taste quite different?
But the gravy, and I like the gravy from squirrel.
But we ended up getting, well, we froze the one tenderloin,
Right,
which
right.
is plenty for you and I for a
Yeah,
dinner.
the underside of the breast where the tenderloin is, it comes out is probably like this big.
Yeah, that was a nice sized piece of meat.
Yeah.
So we vacuum sealed that in one of the vacuum sealed freezer bags. And then we got about 15, 16 pints. Well, the can, I don't know if you guys can hear that. The canner's still going with the second round, but the first round's out right now.
Yep. Looks good.
And the house smells amazing right now because we deboned the legs some and deboned mostly thigh and leg meat. We didn't really debone the wings too much, did we?
No, I don't think at all.
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
I've
at all,
got a
really.
big roaster of turkey stock going right now. Again, I threw some garlic scapes in there, some carrots, some bay leaves, some peppercorns, and
And we'll let that run for a good 24 hours, right?
at least, yeah.
Yeah. And some vinegar.
And the apple cider
That's
vinegar.
one of the tricks,
yeah,
right?
Right. It's supposed to like help pull the marrow or the collagen out of the bones or something.
Right.
So that was a decently busy weekend for a rainy weekend.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
still
stayed
got-
busy, and we didn't. We watched a little bit of football this afternoon as the turkey canner was running, and it's evening now. It's dark. You'll see this on Monday morning when this video will go live.
Next weekend is the cabin.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the cabin next weekend, so
And I get to
hopefully
plant my garlic up there.
it is garlic planting time.
Yeah.
We have quite a few things we want to do at the cabin. We got a lot of chores to do at the cabin to get the cabin ready for winter. It's not that we don't have running water there.
Yeah,
so
it's not a whole winterization process.
we don't have a whole winterization process, but there's things we need to put away. I need to
Right.
get the chimney cleaned out before we get the fire going, so remind me to do that when we get there,
Okay,
before we start the fire.
right. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a super awesome week. I love spending time with you. I love hearing your comments. So please tell us if you have any feedback on anything that we did over the weekend or you want to see more. But he's going to get into welding, guys. So if you want to see more about just like as a new person learning welding, we don't really do too many cooking videos, but if anyone's interested in learning how to cook a quiche and that's something that you'd like me to show, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Comments from you help let us know what you want to see and what you enjoy. It's one of the things that really drives us too okay, let's get off our butt, let's make another video. So-and-so asked for this, we need to produce it.
Right.
So it's definitely a motivator for us.
So what's coming up this week, though? You have one video ready to go out. Oh, no, it went out today.
We published that today.
Yeah, so the black garlic video came out today. Of course, this one coming out. I don't know. Do we have
Monday.
anything else planned?
Tuesday Night Live,
Tuesday Night Live.
9 o'clock
9
Eastern
o'clock.
Time.
Come and chat with us. It's a lot of fun. We get a good group of people in there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, guys. Have a great night and a great week.
Yep. Thanks for joining.
See you later.